Welcome to Soul Tales Daily, where simple stories echo deep emotions, joy, sorrow, greed, and glimpses of humanity. Stay a while, maybe you'll find yourself in one of them. Right finger hit subscribe and make every day a story to remember. Dizzy. Everyone thought Maria would be happy forever, until the day he left, taking the spring of Hallstatt with him. From that day on, the snow seemed to never melt again. In the heart of Austria, Hallstatt lies like a gem in the hands of winter. A calm lake reflects the dark brown wooden roofs, smoke from kitchens drifts, and church bells ring long in the early morning. In the small attic by the lake, Maria opened the window to let in the cold air and the scent of pine. Her hands trembled slightly as she put her brush to the easel. Before her was the scene she once loved, where she and Lucas once dreamed together of a future filled with music and color. Lucas, a musician from Vienna, once came to Hallstatt to compose. He sought peace and found Maria. Two artistic souls met in the snow, like two lost notes that accidentally blended into the same song. But no song can last forever if the heart changes rhythm. One February afternoon, the wind blew through the snow-covered roofs. Lucas said, his voice soft but colder than winter, "Maria, Vienna needs me. Here, I will be just a mediocre dreamer." Maria looked up, her eyes like a frozen lake. "What about me, Lucas? What am I in your dreams?" He was silent. Outside, the sky was pouring down heavy snowflakes. On the table, the violet petals she had picked this morning trembled like a human heart. Then Lucas turned and left. The door closed behind him, and in that moment, Maria's world closed too. The snow fell heavier in the following days. Maria hardly left the house. She lit the fireplace, painted endlessly, but it seemed like all the colors had turned to ash gray. In the last painting, she painted an arm reaching out of the mist, trying to touch something that no longer existed. The villagers looked at her, whispering softly, "She's still waiting for him." Maria just smiled, a smile as faint as the mist. "No. I'm just learning not to wait anymore." One morning, as the mist cleared from the lake, Maria entered the small cafe at the end of the village. The owner was Mr. Heinrich, a silver-haired man with kind eyes and a knowing smile. He looked at the sketches in her notebook and said, "You paint sadness so beautifully that it makes people want to cry. But you know, in Vienna, they sell sadness too. They just forget to add a little hope." Maria smiled softly. After many months, that smile appeared on her face again. From that day on, she came to forgive every afternoon, carrying her paints and her slowly healing heart. She began to paint strangers, people who had lost loved ones, people who had lost their way in love, and somehow, each picture she made them smile. Time passed, Hallstatt changed seasons again. Maria opened a small exhibition called Undissolved Colors. In the center was Light in the Mist, the unfinished painting she had been working on the day Lucas left. Now the painting was complete, the man was gone. There was only one woman sitting by the lake, in the middle of the melting snow. In her hand was a violet petal and a peaceful smile. Then one afternoon, when the first snow of the season fell again, Lucas returned. He walked into the Forgive cafe, where a soft yellow light shone through the glass windows. Maria looked up, still holding the brush. For a moment, the room held its breath. "Maria," he called softly, his voice hoarse and trembling. "I lost everything, my career, my music, myself. And I realized, only you are real." Down her teacup, steam rising in the air. "You're right, Lucas, I am real, but that real thing doesn't belong to you anymore." He knelt down, his voice broken. "Please, give me a chance. You still love me, right?" Maria looked at him for a long time. Snow and light met in her eyes. "I forgive, Lucas, but forgiveness doesn't mean going back. You know, sometimes the best thing we can do is let the pain rest." Outside, the snow was still falling, but in Maria's heart, winter had left. The next morning, she hung Light in the Mist back on the wall of the shop. Underneath, she placed the old silver bracelet, a gift from Lucas, next to a small board that read, "Forgive, where the past sleeps, and the heart begins again." Maria looked out the window. Lake Hallstatt sparkled in the morning light. The snow melted into drops of water, sparkling like broken crystal. She smiled slightly, not because she had forgotten, but because she had finally learned to live without holding on. And as the first rays of sunlight shone across the lake, Maria closed her eyes and whispered, "Thank you, Lucas. It was because you left that I found myself." Since then, the Forgive cafe has become a place where people come to heal. Each cup of hot tea, each painting by Maria is a story of kindness and resurrection. Forgiveness is not forgetting the person who hurt you. Forgiveness is letting go, making room for light in your heart. Maria did not win by making Lucas regret, but by becoming more peaceful than him, and peace is always the best answer. Tulip, if you have ever experienced a painful breakup, watch this story again, to understand that forgiveness is not weakness, but the courage to love yourself more. Subscribe to the channel to watch adult fairy tales, where every wound can bloom.